Are you watching the Digimon movie?
That's what I wanted to do, yeah.
I want to watch a Digimon movie.
Okay, cool. Greatest Digivolution ever. This is the most badass Digimon ever. Come on. So for those of you who don't know, that was the Digimon movie and Chipotle, Leftover Chipotle. So today is kind of like yesterday, in which I'm like not really like doing anything, but today I have to do a couple things. Like I have to do homework, playwriting homework. I'm gonna like write a scene and stuff. That's like the main thing I need to do today, and I'm gonna like get on that in like a second. But I also wanted to talk about like my love for anime. I wanted to talk about it because I've been like watching it a lot lately, and like it's probably a little bit random as to why, and it's like a big point of contention for a lot of people. Like a lot of people really don't like anime, and a lot of people really do like anime, and so I'm just gonna give my opinion on it, but I'm gonna do that after I've done my homework, and I'm gonna write it, and I'm gonna do in this thing. That's the thing. Okay, I've gotten a good little chunk of my playwriting done. I think I'm done for today because I have until Thursday. But before I talk about anime, there are two things I wanted to say. First, I'm still in my pajamas, and it feels great. This Yale sweatshirt is so comfortable, and these, you can't tell, but they are the best and most comfortable pants ever. Also, second thing, daylight savings happened here, so we're actually 4 hours ahead of East Coast America, and like, it's not late at all, and it is pitch, you can't tell, I'm trying, it is pitch black. It is pitch black outside. I'm talking, it was pitch black at like 5 o'clock. That's ridiculous. That I legitimately thought it was like 8 p.m. and then I looked at my phone and it was like 5:30. I was like, what? So before I start, I just wanted to say, I know that anime is like a very contested thing, and so I just wanted to ask you to hear me out before you just click the exit button. Just hear me out for a second. So I felt this was appropriate to talk about because the past couple of days I've been like watching a lot of anime, and I think I mentioned this a while ago that we watched like Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, and that was like, it's like a near and dear anime to my heart, and we watched Digimon this morning, and I've been feeling really nostalgic about a lot of those things, and so I felt this was a good thing to talk about for today's vlog. So my story with anime started when I was like really young. And this is kind of funny because a lot of people don't really realize this. They don't make this connection. So my first experience with anime was actually Pokemon, like way back when. I was like 2 or 3 years old, and I was just like watching the Pokemon anime. Didn't know what anime was at the time. Played all the video games up until like Black and White 2 or something like that, I think was when I stopped. And so like from a very young age I was kind of exposed to this type of cartoon. At the time I legit thought I just like called it a cartoon. I was like, oh yeah, let's just watch Pokemon. And then Digimon was the other one. I would watch like Pokemon and Digimon like every Saturday, and I would like watched it as it progressed. And so that's kind of where it really started for me, not really realizing what anime was. I just really liked the shows as a kid because I like played the video games, and I just thought they were fun. And then the next step was Avatar: The Last Airbender, once again, iffy subject. Some people argue anime, some people not. I'm on the side that's like, it's an anime. Yes, it didn't come from Japan. It's the style. That's a whole other debate in and of itself. If you ever really want to have an argument with someone who really watches anime, just bring up Avatar: The Last Airbender. 100%, 95% of the time, you will have an argument ready. And so then I watched all of that, and that was a cartoon / anime that changed my entire like childhood. And I think almost anyone of my generation who has watched that show will agree how impactful that was. It kind of changed how people thought of cartoons, because it was so, I don't want to say relevant, but it was very adult. It was very grounded. It was very real, despite all of the fantastic elements of the show. It like spoke to humanity. It was like about humans and like what it means to be like human, and like it was talking about like civilizations and like war, and it was very, very real in that regard. And so then after that was when I really started to understand what anime was, because then I started to watch Naruto, which is like the nerdiest thing I've ever said. So, and I'm still a big fan. I will openly admit that I'm a huge fan of Naruto. But I started watching Naruto on Toonami despite my mother's wishes. She did not want me to watch the show, and I secretly watched it in like a classroom with my friend Tomas, like just because we would be able to watch it there, and like when no one was around, so it was just Tomas and me like in a classroom watching Naruto. And then one time, side note, one time story, we just like started play fighting with like the big meter sticks that are in these rooms while watching Naruto, and I totally broke one, and I think I like ran away, and like to this day I'm not sure they actually knew who broke it, but it was me. I broke the meter stick at Johnny Ford Elementary School 10 years ago. And so that's when I really started to watch anime, and that one really struck me hard. To be honest, I probably shouldn't have watched it when I was this young, because if you learn about the storyline, it's very, very dark. And I started watching where there was this kid, his name is Gaara, and you learn about his backstory, and anyone who's watched Naruto knows about that like backstory. I was in elementary school at the time. That was like really, really, really dark. But I loved it because it was like action-packed. It was a show, and it was violent, yes, but it was a show that I really enjoyed. And then I guess I kind of took a break from that, aside from like Digimon, Pokemon, which I kind of continued to watch. And then sometime junior or senior year, I started re-watching Naruto, and I started watching Naruto Shippuden because they were older, and so I wanted to like see that. And so what ended up happening is I started watching it all up until where the English stopped, and then I was like, wait, there's more, but it's in Japanese, so I started watching subtitled things. And so I got all the way up until the Japanese one ended, and then at that point I was just like, I just really want to watch a Japanese show. And so I found the show called Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. I didn't know this at the time, but it's critically acclaimed as like the perfect anime. It like follows the manga like 100%. Super awesome. I binge watched it in like a week, and it was incredible. And then after that I started reading the Naruto manga to like keep me updated. And then I think 2 or 3 years ago, so I'd already been kind of like, I knew about anime and like I knew Japanese culture in that regard. Like 3 years ago, I found this website called Crunchyroll. That is basically a website dedicated to anime. And I just started watching like all these different kinds of anime. And then I did the month free subscription. And I watched like all of Hunter x Hunter, which, if you know Hunter x Hunter, is a super long anime, and honestly one of the best animes I've ever seen. And then after that month was over, I had watched like 3 or 4 different animes, and I was like, wow, this is so good. And so I did the year subscription. And so from that point on, basically every day I was just like watching, I was just binge watching like anime in my free time. And so at that point, I would consider myself well versed in anime, because I had watched, I'd watched so many I have now, because of that subscription, like watched so very many anime. And recently, like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, Digimon Tri came out, which is like this remake of, like I mentioned yesterday, is that Digimon. And so that kind of like brought it back because I had taken a kind of break from anime. That's what I've noticed. I think like a lot of people do. They'll like watch a bunch of anime and then like it'll stop for a little bit and like life will hit you. And then at some point you find it again and you're like, wow, why did I ever stop watching anime? And so that's what I did. And so that was my story with anime. But what I want to say is that there's like an anime for everyone. So like a lot of people just assume, they assume that like anime is like this kind of niche thing. I mean, it is kind of a niche thing, but it's like this for guys thing, which is like not true. Like in Japan, there's animes for everyone. There's adult anime, there's children's anime, there's anime designed for guys, there's anime designed for girls. Like, but like no matter what you're into, there's like an anime that will fit you. And that's what I feel like is not really known as much, is that like they're like, if you're willing to watch an animated, like a cartoon, if you're willing to watch a cartoon, then you should be willing to watch an anime because they're awesome. And they're cartoons. It's just like a different style, and there legitimately is an anime for everyone. Just sometimes you won't be able to find it in English. It'll be in Japanese with English subtitles. And once you get over that, there's no stopping you. You're going forever. Quick addition. The movies, any Studio Ghibli, I still don't know how to say it. I feel bad about that. Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, Kiki's Delivery Service. There's like a million Studio Ghibli movies that are super popular. My Neighbor Totoro, that many people have seen. Spirited Away is like the #1, and then Princess Mononoke is like the #2. Those are like the two most popular. But those are also considered anime, and that's like those are like very Japanese. And so yeah, like there is legitimately an anime for everyone. And so I plead with all of my audience, never judge someone who enjoys anime. Don't knock it till you try it, and we are normal people too, the majority of the time. Now I don't really know what I'm gonna do. That was like what I wanted to talk about today, and so that's gonna be like a good chunk of the vlog. It's not even late. It just feels super late because it's so dark outside. It is 6:40 p.m. And I don't think I'm gonna do anything else today. So if I don't, I'm gonna end it right there. Really fast, here's a quick list of all the anime that I totally recommend, and in the description below I'm gonna link this video that I saw that Tim posted on Facebook, which is like super true. I'll also list all of the ones that I'm about to list here down there.